right, so good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Kitiana Lowe. I'm the Director of Programs and Events. Titles always change. I'm the Director of Programs and Events here at WBEC ORV, and we are excited to have you all join us today. Today this is our first doing business session of the year, so doing business with CyberSure. We have Iku Williams here who's going to be joining us. Before I toss it over to him, I just want to introduce the ORV team, just in case you are not familiar with all of us. So our fearless leader, our president and CEO, Lenise Smith, who I'm sure you're all aware of. And then we have our Chief Operations Officer, Dr. Frederica Singletary. Our fractional CFO is Jackie Jordan, and our Senior Director of Marketing and Communications and Business Development is Courtney Martin. And then our certification team, which I'm sure you are all very familiar with, is led by our Director of Certification, Colleen Rudisell, and our Certification Manager, Robbie Moore. And then we have our Administrative Assistant, Morgan McDonald. So we are a mighty team, mighty but lean team who work diligently to provide all things that our WBEs need in regards to certification and programs and events. So as I mentioned, we do have Iku Williams, who is joining us today from CyberSure. And Iku, I'm going to go ahead and let you share your screen and take it away.
Share. Can everyone see my screen?
I do not see it yet.
That is weird. Hold on one second.
Sure. I like to call them technology gremlins. They've been running rampant the past couple of weeks. So
Right.
Here it comes. Let's see. Yes, I can see it now. It's not in presenter mode, but our presentation mode, but I do see it.
Okay. Now is it in present? Is it like I have so many screens up, so I just want to make sure you're able. So are you able to see in presentation mode now?
It's not in presentation mode. We just see your PowerPoint. It's in PowerPoint mode still.
It is not liking me today. Hold on. Oh. Let me do this. Sorry about that.
No worries.
What about now?
Now it's exactly the way we need it to be.
All right.
Perfect.
Well, good morning, everyone. As she alluded to, my name is Iku Williams. I am a partner and practice leader here at CyberSure, as well as a corporate sponsor for WBEs ORV. And one of the things that we'll be talking about today is really why we're a corporate partner for this organization. And then I will also explain to you what we do, how we do it, and how our services can help you all as organizations, as well as really what we need from you. We don't do everything, but there's certain needs that we have from you. Overall, CyberSure is a cyber risk management service organization. We help our clients identify, trust but verify, and we quantify their risk. What that means is we help clients with all sorts of risk management. We advise on that from a cybersecurity standpoint, understanding that we want to make you are secure as possible, and we want to protect your data. Understanding as a business, you are your strongest, your weakest link. So what that means is if you're not getting the adequate assessments, if you not getting the adequate training or education, these are things that prevent companies from operating effectively, because cybersecurity is a business decision. At one point, people would think that cybersecurity was overhead, but if you're not paying attention to or investing in cybersecurity on an everyday basis, that can make you vulnerable. This would make cyber criminals smile as they attack. And I'm sure you've heard of breaches and ransomware. Those are the things that cyber criminals do. They attack. And nowadays, even if you are a small to medium-sized business, if they block or breach your network or even your devices, that can prevent you from working. And every day that you are out of work, that costs you dollars. The more dollars that cost you, that can prevent you from easily going out of business. So because of that, as we go through these slides, this is why we are a corporate sponsor. We want to make sure that your businesses are as successful as possible. And like I said, we really need your help as well. We know we need marketing needs. We know we need event coordinators when we host events. But most importantly, these are things that we want to help you out as members of this organization. And this is what we want to help out with. So if you ever need any of our services, we give an automatic 15% discount to all members. And these are opportunities that we provide or services that we provide or help with. So one of the things that we do help out with, and most importantly, is really around cybersecurity education. So we do provide training seminars. I have highlighted Ohio Tech Cred, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Ohio Tech Cred is an opportunity through Ohio to actually get total reimbursement on training and education. This is a program that's been around for a couple months now through Ohio. That is an opportunity to upskill you as an owner or your employees and staff. What that means is we can provide the actual training and education. We will provide you with a certificate of completion for the training. Now, of course, you would pay that, but you would submit all that information to Ohio and you would get reimbursed. So essentially, by you upskilling and getting your staff or yourself trained on certain modules in cyber education, you're essentially getting it for free. So I wanted to highlight that because I do understand as a small business or a medium-sized business or any type of business, especially nonprofit, what are those benefits? We understand in today's climate that there are budgetary gaps or tightens around things that need to be needed, but to have an opportunity where you can get education that is needed when it comes to cybersecurity and get totally reimbursed, it's a win-win. So I wanted you all to understand that is a service that we would provide to all members of the organization, and you will still get a 15% discount. But even when you pay it, you will get totally reimbursed through Ohio Tech Cred. We also offer phishing exercises where we simulate fake emails. And if you need any additional services that we don't provide, we would utilize our network to assist you with any additional cyber resources. As we talked about what is Ohio Tech Cred, very high level, but it is an opportunity for training and reimbursement program to support the higher employers. The benefits: financial support, comprehensive assistance, and upskill and retain talent. Again, these are all pluses that we would help with through the training. And again, I'll reiterate, you would get totally reimbursed. When I say totally, I mean totally reimbursed for this process. And then how does it work? We identify the skills and needs. We partner with you. Essentially, you would apply, submit your application. For every employee, you would register them, upload proof of completion. That'll be for us, an invoice that will show that it has been completed. And then what we would do, we would provide you and your staff certificates that show that you were completed. You would actually get a certificate to show proof. So this is an excellent program. A lot of organizations are not taking advantage of this. So these are one of the major things that we would provide and do on behalf of CyberSure for anyone in this organization to help train them in cybersecurity. And again, the plus, you would get totally reimbursed. What we do, again, we identify, we verify, and we quantify. This is the basis of CyberSure. We want to make sure you understand where your sensitive data is, and we want to make sure we protect that. We want to verify. If you work with an external IT provider, what we do when we say trust but verify, we're going to trust what they're doing, but we're also going to verify on your behalf that they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then help mitigate those risks. And we quantify. This is something that a lot of organizations do not do. We do, through our assessment process, we are able to quantify your risk exposure based off the type of organization you are, number of employees, the industry specifically you're in, and we quantify that information and we give you that back in a numerical value that states, based off all this information and data, this is how much your company would be worth if breached. This allows you as an organization the ability to make, like I stated earlier on, business decisions when it comes to cybersecurity. This allows you to see firsthand in black and white the minimal amount, the maximum amount, and the average amount that it could cost you if breached. And again, just the problem, right? The cost of data breach is roughly around 4 million. It's going to continue to increase every day. We know it's in the news every day. And what our job is to help our clients be proactive in regards to what is it going to cost you financially? What is that impact on your business, and help you mitigate those risks so you can be proactive to protect your data. And the big question is, are you prepared if that was to occur? If not, that's where we're able to help out at. So we have a process that we call CyberSure. And when we provide this information, not only are you from a risk standpoint, you get to see where those risks are, what they are, how much it can continually cost you. We help reduce your risk profile. Some organizations currently have cyber liability. Some organizations are thinking about it. Some organizations are right now trying to decide if they want to get it. Well, what we do through our assessment process is we help you secure cyber liability insurance. And we do not sell insurance, but we have a licensed insurance broker that once we do our assessment, we're able to really look at all the data through your quantification, through the risks that were discovered, and help tell that story to insurance brokers so they can give you adequate insurance. You always want to make sure you have right insurance, because currently insurance companies are essentially sending you a questionnaire, you're filling it out, you're sending it back, and they give you a policy. But they can't give you a true policy if you don't know the landscape and how much data is worth. And that's where we come in. And we also help you maintain compliance through NIST or CIS. These major governmental frameworks is we help align with to, again, make sure that we mitigate all risk on your behalf and make sure you are secure as possible. The key is your data is your gold, and without that information externally or internally, especially if you have client data versus social security numbers, credit card numbers, if you're in a medical field, you have HIPAA information. These things can cost you if you're not maintaining compliance. And we help you assess and make sure you're doing all the adequate and proper things, and that those controls are in place, that you're good to reduce that risk profile. And here is just a small example of what we do when we quantify. You see here the lowest yearly loss, highest yearly loss, and most likely. Again, this is all part of our quantification. That number in red, that is actually data from a client that we discovered on their network and on devices. So think any type of data that's exposed and discovered, there's a dollar value attributed for each piece of data. So in this example, it was close to $60,000 worth of data that was actually exposed. And what that means is if you were breached and your information was encrypted, that's how much your information will be worth on the black or dark web. And from that, that's exposed data. And you can actually get sued because that information was available and discovered. And that is when you look at just from that dollar amount, your cyber criminals would send you a ransomware note, lock your PC down, and say, hey, you owe us $60,000 if you want us to de-encrypt your laptop. But the numbers that you see on top and below, those are your threat vectors, right? These are things that you could be most potentially exposed to and how much it would cost you. And this is just an example of a type of report that we provide. These are sections of our deliverable. We would show where your network is as far as risk score, your security. We use a unique software that allows us to scan your network, scan your devices, scan your servers, and see where your exposures are, where those risks or cyber risks are, and we give you a score back. And this is an example of what we have discovered, what risks are on those devices or servers, or what needs to be updated, what vulnerabilities do you have, and we report on that as well as recommendations to mitigate those risks. In this area, think best practices, but if you do have insurance or you're thinking about getting insurance, these are the few of the top items that cyber insurance carriers are looking for. So if you have these things in place, these are things that will lessen the amount of your cybersecurity insurance. If you were to get red X's on these areas, these would be areas that insurance policies could be increased at if you don't have these best practices in place. But this is overall part of our assessment, right? We want to make sure you are as secure as possible. And this last area is just an example of the type of insurance program you should be on if you were getting a renewal or even thinking about cyber insurance. Our cybersecurity professional, again, we're licensed, so legally we can provide this information back to you. And just as best practice, I like to tell our clients that these are things that they're just looking for, right? These are just overall best practices: multi-factor authentication, endpoint detection. Are you backing up your data? And are you training your employees at least annually? And if you can answer these core four, these would definitely help you on policy. But these are also the core four that if you wanted to get insurance, if you're not at least not doing these things, they could easily decline you from getting a policy or would state you need to have these things in place. And they would give you maybe 3 to 6 months to have it in place before they would provide you with a policy. The plus is now with Ohio Tech Cred, that employee training is something we provide. And the beauty of it is you can get that totally reimbursed for free. These are just another list of underwriters that we look at. These are best practices that you should have if you can. Some, depending on size of the organization, you're not going to be able to do all of these things, but you want to do as much as you can and as possible, right? Getting a third-party risk assessment, we do that. Incident response plan, internally you can do that. Patch management program, it's just making sure that you're doing all the updates on your devices when those come out. Those are just some of the examples of one you could do by yourselves or we can assist with. Or if you have a third-party IT provider, these are things that they should be helping out with. And again, just to regurgitate and provide you again, these are all our services: how we identify, we quantify, we advise, and we also help mitigate as well through different services. Beyond CyberSure, we do provide what we consider a fractional CISO service, just like a fractional accounting. Very similar. If you do not have on-site cybersecurity leader or professional, we help with that, right? We help meet from a CC standpoint to help you out. If you need strategy in place, how do we continue on a long-term basis, strengthen our security posture? Do I need to draft security policies? You may not have one. And that goes back to if you needed cyber insurance, or really just as best practice, what would happen if something was to occur? Do you have a policy in place that steps through if my computer goes down, if there was a threat, if I was to be breached? What is those adequate steps that should be in place? If you don't have those, we can help you with that. And just if you have an MSP and they're providing you reports back on a monthly basis, but it seems like a foreign language, we can help you with that as well. It's really kind of transcribe that to you and help you understand this is what they're doing, this is what they're going to be doing, and this is how we can strategize that makes most sense and prioritize those items to make sure you're more secure going forward. Because our overall goal is we want to make sure your organization has the most adequate cyber hygiene as possible. Cyber hygiene is, think about as health. If you go to a doctor once a year or you go on a routine basis to make sure you're healthy, you should be doing the exact same thing when it comes to your cyber hygiene, making sure everything is up to date, making sure you're getting assessments done on at least annual basis. You want to be able to catch those gaps and mitigate those risks, because that is how the cyber criminals are attacking. They are finding those vulnerabilities in your network, on your devices. They understand, especially as small to medium-sized businesses, they don't have the resources to do that on a regular basis. And you'll see more and more small businesses be attacked, and that's increasingly dramatically over the time. And we are here to try to help you with those items. And that overall, that is my presentation about why we are here, what we do, and why we do it. Is there any questions? Did anybody raise their hand and put any comments into the chat?
I don't see any questions in the chat, but thank you so very much for all of this information. For those who are on the call, if you have any questions, please feel free to come off mute and go ahead and just ask your question. If you don't want to do that, you can definitely tap it in the chat. While we're waiting for either questions to come in your mind or for things to pop into the chat, I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the upcoming events that we have coming up here at WBEs ORV, and that will give folks a little bit of time for that information to kind of digest, and then they'll be ready to ask any questions there. So let me share my screen again. And then these are just our events that we have that are coming up in the rest of February and in March. And I will, of course, I always end with Catch the Wave. So February 18th is developing an effective capability statement. A capability statement is something that you're going to need if you're working with any of our corporate partners, as well as sometimes for our events and opportunities that we have here at WBEs ORV, we ask for that as well. So if you either one, don't have a capability statement, two, you've got one, but you know it probably needs to be refreshed, three, you have no clue what a capability statement is, this is a free webinar that you definitely want to join, and you'll get all the information that you need from there. And then we also have March 12th, Doing Business with Ohio Health. So that's a seminar similar to this one with Ohio Health. And then March 17th, we're doing Women's History Month with the Cavs. So it's Cavs versus Magic game. Our newsletter, if you're already subscribed to that, will have some more information about how you can get your ticket for that Cavs game if you want to be there. If you are not subscribed to our newsletter, definitely drop me an email and let me know, and we can get you added. I will add my email address in the chat. March 19th is our Speak Like a Leader event. So it's really going to talk about public speaking and how to best present yourself and properly prepare when you have the opportunities to speak. And that doesn't matter whether you're speaking in a boardroom, whether you're speaking in front of a room with 250 people, or whether you're just having some one-on-one dialogue and conversation. And then, of course, make sure you go ahead and mark your calendar now. August 25th through the 27th is Catch the Wave. This year, we're going to be in Cleveland, Ohio. So we are really excited about that and looking forward to seeing all of you there. I will pause for a moment, and I don't see any questions. I do see a question in the chat, actually. Let me see here. So is it Corliss? Is that how you pronounce your name? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your first name.
No, that is absolutely
Okay.
correct. Thank you.
Sure. And so you mentioned in the chat that you're interested in being considered to possibly do business with CyberSure. Did you have any additional questions that you wanted to ask to Iku?
Well, the only other questions that I had, I saw that they're open to, I think, marketing and event planners. Is that the only area of opportunity?
We have other opportunities. We are not an enterprise organization. So
Okay,
we're not a Duke Energy. I'll say that, right?
okay,
So we are actually a small to medium sized business ourselves,
okay,
but we just happen to be a corporate sponsor. So really, what we need is we need assistance with marketing, event planning. Um, we probably would need some assistance maybe around strategy um, as well. But those are like what I would consider our major needs. But
okay,
again, we are here to utilize our network for you all as well. So
okay,
based off your service lines or what your business model is or what you do, we are very happy to share that information with our network as well to get your business. We're not here. I'm not just speaking for CyberSure. We're here to help you all grow as well as a corporate sponsor. Those are just things that specifically we know we lack at. We're limited in what we can do. So
mm-hmm.
we definitely are here to push your business, and that's what we're here to do as a corporate sponsor.
And so
Thank you
then
for
if she
that.
wanted to connect with you further, should she just reach out to you via email?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course, of
Oh, no
course.
problem.
But one other question, so just to see if it's a good match or not, like my area of expertise is regulatory compliance and quality in the revenue cycle management and medical coding space in healthcare. So kind of helping to develop, manage, deploy quality-driven solutions from an AI perspective, responsible AI.
Okay.
So is that something that you all are kind of working in that space right now, or that's not where you all are focused?
No, we work in that space. So
Okay.
everything you needed, think at the end of the day, every device that you have and you can have data around there, you
Mm-hmm.
protect that, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
you're doing quality assurance, no matter the line of business, how are you protecting that and where are those gaps at and where do they sit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or
Mm-hmm.
do you have the adequate policies or procedures written around
Correct.
right? So we're able to
Right.
help with that as well, really digest into, and you mentioned AI. So that is a
Mm-hmm.
big thing right now. How are you using
Huge.
it, right? Are you using Chat GBT, but do you not know not to put your company's information in Chat GBT
Right.
on an Excel spreadsheet out, right? That's
Exactly.
proprietary, but you have a lot of companies doing that. So
Yeah.
you need to begin to write policies around these are
Right.
your big no-nos when it comes to using AI. And
Absolutely.
these are big yeses. So here's what we
Right.
don't do. And as an organization, this is how we're going to do it. Right. So,
Right.
and then, just following gaps and we do all sorts of various assessments to really,
Mm-hmm.
what are those gaps in that organization or
Mm-hmm.
even teaming up, right? If you're doing QA, but there's a
Mm-hmm.
fear of, you know what, I think there are potential gaps in our network. They're not doing X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Can you come in and that's tag team and can you just do this part of my
Correct.
overall process? We do that all the
Okay.
time with clients, right? Especially
Okay.
like accounting and stuff like that. Think we did a whole accounting audit, but all that data, where does it sit? Is that protected?
Right.
Come in and we do
Right.
joint audits and assessments as well. We stay in our
Hmm.
lane, right?
Right.
But we provide that data back to you, and however you want to deliver it holistically to a client, that's fine.
Exactly.
Some people have us present as saying this is our technical arm, and
Right.
they came and did this assessment. We do that as well.
Okay. Okay, very good. That's very helpful because I know from like I'm ISO 9001 certified in quality. I'm also certified as a AI medical coder and in other areas because I've worked in the industry for over 15 years.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I have learned in my research and development is they are not prepared for from an AI technology standpoint and how it functions as in medical coding and in the billing accuracy space because based upon a number of assessments that have been done, the AI medical coding has high error rates when it comes to the complexity of how it reads the documentation, but they are still kind of operating their business based upon traditional regulatory recommendations. So this is where my expertise come in and kind of helping them to navigate and bridge that gap from traditional to kind of modernizing that solution.
And where we could play in that or work alongside is as you help them think out that traditional to current, that's
Mm-hmm.
where that assessment comes in, right? So
Right.
here's those gaps and vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it your own way anymore, and this is the reason why you have these gaps and vulnerabilities. And then you will be able to decipher and take our information and say, now ongoing, this is how the process should be going forward
Okay.
under these controls, or this is
Okay.
compliance, right? So
Okay.
I hear you talk compliance
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
I'm more quality, but it's a bridge. Like how quality and compliance are like brothers and sisters, but
Correct.
it's not really it's not really looked at it like that until you kind of help to open their way of thinking around it. That's
Right.
what, but once you kind of close those gaps with how they see quality versus how they're working in compliance, then they understand, they start to want to plot and plan a solution to bridge those gaps.
Right.
So it's our job to kind of help them to see that because they're just not there yet. There's so much on their plates right now.
Oh, makes perfect sense.
Look,
Yeah.
so it definitely sounds like the two of you will connect offline,
Yeah,
of
yeah, I'm
course,
sorry.
definitely. I see Nikki, you have your hand raised.
Hi, I'm Nikki Thompson Frazier. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am a little bit different in terms of what I offer. So I own a bakery. We do e-commerce, and so we provide cupcakes in a jar as corporate gifts, as client appreciation treats, or event favors. And I know you mentioned that you're looking for event planners. While we're not an event planner, we do partner alongside event planners, corporations. We do corporate gift giving, especially around now with the holidays for Valentine's Day. We've shipped out several to for companies for their appreciation gifts. We customize the lid with your logo on it. So I would love to be able to connect with you or someone in um, your company that deals with those events or with HR in terms of maybe appreciation or even with client gifting. If you do anything like that already, I would love to come alongside and be able to provide that and have a nice customized gift. And one of the things I want to also point out is that everything we do is completely gluten-free. It's peanut-free. We also offer vegan options as well, so we're very inclusive. And I started because both my girls have food allergies. So we have a great story and a great brand, and we're working to do more B2B as we continue to build that out. And we've done over like 3,000 jars for an event before. So we have the capacity to go small or to go large.
No, that's good. We had an event last year where, to your point, we had like a table or we posted like a thank you and appreciation for clients. So that's great to keep you in mind for when we do that. Because again, we stay in our lane. So where those connection dots at that can do those things, and then we just cut a check to you and let you do that. That's essentially what we're looking for.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Perfect. Any additional questions? I will pause. While I am pausing, let me share my screen one final time. If you are not on your phone for this call, if you can go ahead and pull your phone out and scan this QR code. This is just a brief survey to give us feedback on the presentation today. If you happen to be joining us on your phone, don't worry, because you will get not only this presentation, but also a link to the survey sent to you the next day or two via email. So you'll have an opportunity to complete that survey then as well. So I'm going to keep this survey screen up here just so folks can scan that QR code. But if you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to come off mute and ask any questions that you have. Iku, if you don't mind, can you also go ahead and drop your email address in the chat as well, just in case if folks didn't get a chance to grab that beforehand, they can go ahead and grab that now.
Oh.
Perfect. Thank you so very much. So his email address is there in the chat. I'm going to pause a moment because once I click leave, it will totally be gone, but that's all right. Once again, I want to thank you all for your time today. Iku, I want to thank you all for your corporate membership and your partnership with WBEs ORV. To our WBEs on the call, thank you so much for joining us and taking the opportunity to maximize your certification by getting involved with our corporate partners. Once again, you will receive this information via email as well. And if you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks so much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.